Let's talk Allure Best of Beauty 2023 winners. There's quite a few in the makeup categories that I've actually tested. I want to give you my thoughts on some of the winners. As far as I know, Allure Best of Beauty winners are chosen by the editors. No idea if there's any real bias when it comes to choosing the winners, but I do agree with some of the choices, disagree with others, so let's get into it. So the way that Allure breaks these up, they break them up into 14 different categories. So it's skin, hair, splurges, tools, base, eyes, lips, breakthroughs, nails, scent, clean, steals, which is like the drugstore category, body, and then sensitive. So I didn't try anything from the skin or hair or the splurges or the tools, but when it gets to the makeup items, I've tested quite a few of them. So I want to start with the base category. I feel like that's my biggest category. I just want to jump into the stuff that I've actually tested. There's a lot of other winners on here, but I don't want to go through every single category. So for the first item, they have the Best Light Coverage Liquid Foundation, which is the Hourglass Veil Hydrating Skin Tint. I like it. It's nice. It is very, very lightweight, but it's almost like a little bit greasy. It's a very, very dewy finish. I would not say that this would be a winner with all the foundations that have launched, although I will say this is the lightest coverage skin tint that I feel like launched in 2023, but by no means the best. It's like a makeup no makeup day, but yeah, for me on oily skin, it just ends up being kind of greasy. It's very illuminating. I've kept it around because it's new and it's the first Hourglass complexion product that's worked for me, but that isn't saying much. It's just that Hourglass complexion products don't typically work for me, so not what I would have chosen for light coverage skin tint, Allure Best of Beauty winner. Although I do notice not everything in these categories released in 2023, so they could have chosen really any light coverage skin tint. So keep that in mind. A lot of these are 2023 launches, and I feel like that makes sense because it's like prominent, like it's in our minds and it's fresh and it's new. It's just that they could have chosen really anyone, and I really wouldn't have given it to this particular product. Let's move on into what they call the Best Full Coverage Liquid Foundation. They're saying that it's the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Foundation. Okay. So this doesn't even market itself as a full coverage foundation. If you look at Makeup by Mario's website, if you look on Sephora, they say that this is a medium coverage foundation. So how this one Best Full Coverage Liquid Foundation, I don't know. It's decent, but again, they didn't need to pick from items from 2023. I feel like this is definitely medium coverage foundation. It's nice. I feel like it's marketed more for people with probably dry to normal skin because I get pretty dewy. But again, not a full coverage foundation. It's just okay, not immediately life-changing for me. And then we move on into blushes, and here's where I 100% completely agree. So the first one in the Best Powder Blush category is the Armani Luminous Silk Glow Blush. Now, while I don't think there's really anything super glowy about this product, it's so beautiful and airbrushing. It's pricey and it's on the smaller side, but it's such a beautiful blush that if I had to pick a powder blush to keep in my collection, probably just one or two, I would definitely choose this one, and I would get this in multiple shades. It honestly is one of the most natural looking, melts into your skin type of blushes, and they do a really good job with their cream formula too, the ones that launched last year, the Neo Nudes. I just did a speed review on this and gave this huge praise. This is one of my favorite blushes, so I cannot deny that this won Best Powder Blush for 2023. I totally agree with that. The one that won cream was the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Blush. I said when I did a ranking of my 2023 blushes that launched that I tried, I said this was my favorite. I put this at like #1, or it was like tied for #1. And I even said that I was probably gonna put this in like a Best of Beauty for 2023. So I am so happy to see that this won. It's just such an easy formula to work with. It's matte and it's pigmented, but I feel like anybody could use this. And because it's like a flat compact like this, it's so easy to apply and it's pretty affordable. This does retail for $25, which is like a mid-range price point at this point. Mind you, the one from Armani is like less product and it does retail for $38. So I agree with this choice for Best Cream Blush. Now, Best Cream Blush in the wand department goes to Charlotte Tilbury for her matte beauty blush wands. I have 3 of the now, I think 5 shades. I think there's 5 shades. She came out with like a deeper red one. I totally agree with this as well. I think these are tremendously easy to work with. I love a matte blush. I think these are long lasting. They're super beautiful and the dupes don't even come close. And I was dying for her to come out with a matte version of her beauty wands because I didn't love the overall finish of her more shimmery blushes because they emphasize so much texture on my cheeks. So when these launched, I immediately picked up the 3 shades I felt like would work for me. I am also okay with this choice as a winner. I want to talk about the best liquid blush. M Cosmetics Color Drops Serum Blush got it. I have to disagree with this because there were so many liquid blushes that launched, so many. And this one has been out for a while and I decluttered it. I was dying to try it, get my hands on it. I heard a lot of hype around it when they first launched several years ago, but it was so sticky and so sheer, it was not my thing. And because there are just so many other liquid blushes that launched this year and there's nothing really comparable in the steals category or drugstore category, I don't know. I don't think I would have given it to this one. The best powder highlighter went to the Rare Beauty Positive Light Silky Touch Highlighters. I also agree with this, you guys. I don't know if I gave them the super best review when I first tested them because they emphasize a lot of texture, but the more I used them, the more I realized these are exactly what I like. They're pigmented. They melt in with the blush. It doesn't like lay on top of it because it's not like this super heavy texture. They're immensely light reflecting and they're super soft. So yes, I agree with these. I have 2 shades, Mesmerize and Enlighten. Fully love these. I agree with this win as well. And I don't understand this next one. So there are 2 best powder bronzers listed and I'm assuming they meant to do best cream bronzer for one, but on the website it says best powder bronzer is the NARS Laguna Bronzing Cream. So okay, all right. However, if they meant to do cream, I completely agree. I feel like what NARS did with this is create an undertone that no one at the time was really targeting, and so they came out with like the really popular shade Laguna, but they came out in 01 and 02, which I think was a brilliant idea because Laguna, its original shade was just too dark, but everybody liked, I think, the tone of that. So I have mine in the shade 01. Beautiful formula, melts into the skin. It's this perfect neutrally tone, super easy formula to work with. So I agree with that one. There have been quite a few that have launched. That one still remained one of my top ones. Now for best contour stick, they gave it to Milk Makeup, their Sculpt Cream Contour Stick. I also agree with this one. And the reason that I agree with this one is because there have been quite a few contour sticks that have come out. Again, though, it comes down to a shade thing, which I think Milk nailed in that it's not overly gray. It's a fully neutral contoury shade that works for all the different skin tone ranges that they have. It is a tiny bit of product, but as far as like the contour sticks go, honestly, these last a pretty long time and there is quite a bit of product in here if you compare it to some of the other ones. So I also agree with this one. I feel like I've tested a ton this year and they're targeting some of my favorites in the category. So I agree with that one also. And then best contour wand goes to e.l.f. Halo Glow Contour Beauty Wand. I have mine in the shade Fair Light. I'm surprised this didn't wind up in the steals category because this is an affordable item. And so far as I can tell, there's nothing else affordable in this category. So why this didn't go into the steals category, I don't know. However, there were a ton of contour wands that came out this year as well. And I have to agree, by far, I feel like the e.l.f. contour wand was the best in terms of shade matching. They had the Tarte one. Flower Beauty came out with her version. The Flower Beauty formula was not as good. I feel like this is a much easier formula to work with. It gives you enough time to really blend it in. Plus, it's just a superior shade match for contouring. The ones from Flower Beauty were really good shade matches. The formula just wasn't my favorite. So yes, I would also give it to e.l.f. in this category. I agree with this particular pick. Again, just surprised it didn't wind up in steals. The next one that I have in my collection that I've tried is the Best Full Coverage Concealer. And I just have a little mini, but it goes to the Bobbi Brown Skin Full Coverage Concealer. I really disliked this. When I was starting to film this video, I had to pull this out of my declutter pile because this is really, really a thick consistency concealer and it creases on my under eyes like almost immediately. So I don't know. I guess people who are using this particular product maybe just have super hydrated under eyes with no lines. It just I would not have given it to this, and we've had a ton of concealers come out. While I don't think there was a ton of full coverage concealers that launched, I mean, I get it in that way, but aside from that, I don't think this is a good product. I would not have picked it. Let's move on into the eyes category. A ton of products here that I haven't tried. As it relates to the best waterproof liquid eyeliner, it was given to Danessa Myricks, the Line Work Paintbrush Eyeliner. I fully have to agree. I give this a rave review. I have a lot of trouble with eyeliners and like bleeding, or I don't like the tip. Anyway, this one became one of my favorites almost immediately. The only issue I've had has been kind of with this component that it has like leaked out of, like, I don't know if you guys can see, but the top there starts to kind of bubble. I don't know what the heck that's about, but the formula itself is really, really good. But I have to be careful that it's not like bubbling out of the component. I know that's like super cheap and frustrating. This isn't like super hefty duty packaging, but again, for Danessa, pretty affordable, retailing at $18. I really do like this formula overall. Then for Best Bright Color Liquid Eyeliner, they gave it to the Urban Decay 24/7 Inks Liquid Eyeliner. I only have mine in the shade black, so I don't know how the colors compare. I can just say that the formula is also really, really good. Lovely brush tip, super easy to apply, never smudges. It's just the right formula, exactly what you'd want, time to lay it down, super long lasting, but also not too liquidy so that it gets everywhere. I haven't tried the colored ones. Definitely tempted to because I really like this formula. Only thing I don't love is this packaging. It's totally for aesthetic purposes. And when I'm doing my liner, I like to get really close to like the mirror, and sometimes I kind of find that it's like, you know, when I'm going in the inner corner or whatever, this end here is a little bit bothersome. The formula though, I totally agree with. And then for Best Brow Pencil, they actually gave it to, and I don't agree with this is the Kosas Brow Pop Nano, the smallest tip ever. It's a decent formula, it isn't bad, but I feel like for such a small brow pencil, like there's just a ton of other ones on the market. This one wasn't one I would pick. It takes me like forever to apply my brows, and I don't do much to them other than fill them in. This is okay for detailing, but I wouldn't necessarily call it like an all over brow product that would win. I don't know. It's good. It's just not great. I don't know if I would have necessarily given it to it, but formula, not terribly bad. It's just overall just the tiniest thing ever. It takes me like 20 minutes to do my brows. So then down to Best Chrome Eyeshadow Wand. I just put this in a speed reviews as well. They gave it to ColourPop Chrome Liquid Shadows. They're calling this the winner for Best Chrome Eyeshadow with a Wand. Completely disagree. Moira Beauty, while that's an indie brand, don't know how you make it to these Allure lists. They had the best liquid shadows in a wand, I think, that launched of all of 2023. This particular one looks like it has a really nice shift in the tube, but it is fully purple on the lid. And the problem for me with hooded eyes is that when it touches itself, it lifts the product. So where my hoods crease, it completely leaves a blank space. So not good for me at all. Totally going to declutter this. Would not have picked this. Again, the Moira Beauty liquid shadows with a wand, hands down, were my favorite. Just for giggles, I went and grabbed them. They had the super hyped liquid pigments. So these came in matte, and they also came in like a shimmery finish. They also launched, and I think this was 2023, their Diamond Days liquid shadows, also with a wand style, also a superior formula, super easy to work with here. But you could have even given it to Juvia's Place, which launched one. They call these the Culture Duochrome liquid shadows. Again, this is duochrome, such a better formula than the one that ColourPop came out with. This formula is terrible for hooded eyes, and if a formula is good for hooded eyes, you can pretty much guarantee it's probably good for everybody. So I would have given it to any one of those other ones. It wouldn't have been ColourPop. Next, they have the Best 2 Color Eyeshadow Palette. I actually agree with this one. This one is from Rose Inc. It's the Satin and Shimmer Duet Eyeshadow, and I have my two here in Satin Copper and Copper Shimmer. This is beautiful, stunning, super pigmented, easy, compact, everything you'd want in like a cream and a shimmer. Both of them perform super beautifully. This is fairly new to me. Didn't even know this existed until a couple of weeks ago, but this is honestly really, really nice. Totally getting into cream shadows more and more these days, and that one is delightful, so I agree with it. I want to mention, and I don't have this and I didn't try it, the Best 4 Color Eyeshadow Palette. They threw in here Maybelline New York Shadow Blocks. If they were picking a quad, Again, why would they not put this in the steals category? But also, a quad? Of all the quads that exist in the world, this is the one that made it. Just saying, I probably wouldn't have done that. But I do have the best 16 color eyeshadow palette. Again, I want to mention, if they're picking 16 pans, why 16? Why not 20? Or why not 30? Or why not 8? Why best 16 color eyeshadow palette? Maybe there's a formula to this and that I don't know about. They did pick here, again, kind of an affordable option. This is a Juvia's Place Candy Shop eyeshadow palette. I would not say that this is the best 16 pan that launched in 2023. It's good. This is primarily a pressed pigment palette anyway, not necessarily eyeshadow. It's decent, but it's not my favorite. It doesn't target a ton of people. It's like two-toned, right? Blues and pinks primarily. And it was good, don't get me wrong. I'm half okay with this, and then like half like Juvia's Place has done better quality. So I think that's where I'm coming from. Not bad overall. They've just done 10 times better than this formulation, in my opinion. Let's move on to lips. The first ones that they have that I have are listed as the best sheer lipstick. These are the Hourglass Phantom Volumizing Glossy Balms. I have 2 shades. I thoroughly enjoy these. I don't disagree with this pick whatsoever. I think these are really, really nice. I think Hourglass did a really good job. I think they have a little bit more pigment than just totally sheer, but I also think that they're gorgeous looking on the lips. And honestly, one of my favorite splurges in lip products that I had for 2023. So I don't, again, disagree with that pick. And then for best glossy liquid lipstick, they had the Makeup by Mario Moisture Glow Plumping Lip Colors is what they're called. I actually agree with this as well. I heard really mixed reviews on these, and I've actually seen pretty mixed reviews on like Sephora's website and stuff like that. I am wearing this shade right now. This is in Smoky Pink. I think they're great. They're pigmented, they have good gloss, they don't pill up on me. I think they're really pretty. They're not overly plumping or anything, but you can feel the tingly sensation. I actually think they're quite a unique formula. They're almost like pillowy, like whipped, but with a high shine and decent pigmentation. I feel like they were very different than a lot of other lip products that I tried. So if it comes down to best glossy liquid lipstick, I don't disagree with that pick. Let's move on into best lip oil. So they gave it to the Clarins Lip Comfort Oil. I feel like this is not the first time they've given this to Clarins for this particular lip oil. So it's already won before. I don't know the motivation behind giving it to them again, because I feel like every single company has come out with their version of a lip oil at this point. So to give it to them again, while there are so many others that have launched that have been really, really good, again, don't know that I would give it to Clarins. It's good. I just keep thinking affordable. I keep thinking the Milani lip oils. I literally keep thinking of other indie brands that have dropped lip oils that I just feel like are as good as these and not. It says $29 at Nordstrom, but I remember these being more than that when I bought this on the Clarins website. So I don't know. It's good. I just feel like there's so many more right now that they could have just given it to somebody else instead of giving it to them again. Let's move into best tinted lip balm. I almost feel like everyone's gonna agree with this. It's the Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm. I think these are really good. I think these are good for a couple of reasons. Not that they're like a super innovative formula necessarily, but that they are very comfortable. They have a rubbery tipped applicator that's basically slanted to fit your lip shape, which is really nice. It comes with a ton of product. Again, such a great formula. Smells really delightful without being overpowering, and they keep dropping different flavors or shades. So I give it to this for a couple of reasons. Again, not necessarily an innovative formula, but all of those things combined, I actually think it really deserved the best tinted lip balm for 2023. That's my personal opinion, so I agree with that one. Let's move on into clean beauty. Was really surprised a ton of products landed in here that was in like the makeup category, and it doesn't seem like they break up the makeup, right? So everything's just best clean makeup or best clean skincare. It doesn't break it up by like best liquid foundation, clean liquid foundation, or anything like that. They just call it best clean makeup is what it's listed as. So the first one that I have is the Haus Labs Triclone Skin Tech Foundation. I didn't realize this was a fully clean product until I saw it won Allure Best of Beauty for 2023. I know that it has fermented arnica, but I didn't know that it was 100% derived from natural ingredients. I don't know what foundation I would have picked for best clean foundation. But I had to pull this out of my declutter pile because for me, it's kind of a thicker formula, and because I have really oily skin, basically look like I'm gonna light a fire at the end of the night. And I don't think it perfects my skin because it's a thicker consistency. It really emphasizes a lot of my texture. So I wouldn't have picked this one. I just wouldn't. Again, I told you guys I pulled that out of declutter. So I don't know. So again, in the best clean makeup category, they had the Kosas Wet Lip Oil Glosses. I think this is good. I like a lot of Kosas stuff, and I know that Kosas is clean. I think these are really good. I have loved these for, I want to say like 2 years now. So these did not launch in 2023. I think they have tremendously beautiful nude shades in their line. I feel like this is a hybrid formula, a cross between a gloss and a lip oil. So just like the name implies. And these are like really milky and just like thick and bouncy on the lips. So I do really like them. So again, I don't disagree with that pick. The next one that I have for best clean makeup is the Tower 28 Sculptino Soft Cream Contour. Another thing that I've absolutely loved that launched in 2023 because the shade, it's not necessarily a sculpting product though. Even though this calls itself a sculpting product, because it's more of a neutrally shade, it's like a better toned bronzer, I think, personally, in my opinion. But it is a really, really good formula. Their other one, that's the Bronzino, is way more emollient and shimmery. This one is not as emollient, so I kind of like it a little bit better because it doesn't slip around as much. Love this shade as a neutral toned bronzer. I don't disagree that this should have won. If I'm thinking of like sculpting or bronzing products in the clean makeup category, I definitely would have picked this. The next one I also agree with. This is the Say Glow Sculpt Multi-Use Cream Highlighting Blush. Again, if we're gonna pick a blush in the clean category, this is beautiful. It's almost like a moussey texture. It's a little bit thicker, but nicely pigmented, beautiful sheen. It has like gold pigments infused in it, and so it looks super juicy on the cheeks without being sticky because it feels more like a cream to powder formula. So again, don't disagree with this pick. Totally would have given it to them for clean blushes. Let's move on into the steals category. So ton of things here, different categories, like all over the place: skincare, hair care, body care, and then they do have some makeup items. So the first one is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. Best Charlotte Tilbury dupe. Don't disagree with this. Really good formula, lays well under everything. Super easy to use, big doe foot applicator. Like the shade ranges in this, that's kind of what's really different from the Charlotte, is that they actually came out with shade ranges. And I also feel like a lot of people have even been using this one and done base product, so I feel like it's also super versatile. Plus it's pretty affordable. I think it's, yeah, $14. I just think e.l.f. did a really, really good job overall, and they totally deserve this for this product. Here's why I say that the contour one from e.l.f. should have just landed in the steals category, because well, I put this here but not some of their other stuff. Unless they ran out of good contour wands and didn't want to give it to Charlotte again, then I understand that. The next one for makeup steals is the Makeup Revolution Ultra Cream Bronzer. I do not disagree with this either. I think this is probably my favorite drugstore cream bronzer. Even though I feel like this launched maybe last year or at the very beginning of this year. Not entirely sure it launched in 2023, but I did end up trying it in 2023. Favorite that I tried this year, plus favorite drugstore overall cream bronzer. It's just such a good shade, and it's such an easy formula to work with. It just makes it so good in like simplicity, if that makes sense. So I don't disagree with that one. And unless my phone is reading this wrong, they put this in best hair care steals. These are the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Yummy Glosses. I don't know what's going on with some of their naming on this. It says that for the e.l.f. Halo Glow as well, not the bronzer, but let's move past that if I can. These are really good. I like the big doe foot applicators on these. I feel like even though these call themselves a gloss, they're so thin. They're such a soft formula that they feel more like a lip oil. I haven't been super excited over CoverGirl launches in a while. I have more shades than this. I have 2 more in my desk at work. I throw these on all the time. Don't disagree with this one either. I thoroughly enjoy those, and they just launched more shades, I want to say a couple of months ago. I feel like one of these is, or maybe the ones at work, is one of the like new shades that they launched. I really enjoy that. That's why I have 4 of them. This again says best hair care steals, but they gave mascara to the Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect Mascara. I like this. It's just been pushed down in my mascara drawer because I know this to transfer, and I found a ton other that are really beautiful that don't transfer the way this one does. I'm just not sure they're as affordable as this. So I don't disagree with this one, and I don't know that they've won before. So even though this does transfer in more humidity, or if you sweat a lot, I still feel like it's really, really good for $5. And the very final one that they have in this category that I have is the Flower Beauty Plump Up Gloss Stick. I actually also agree with this. I think this is really good. I think About Face has one that's pretty similar. This one is a little bit different than some of its other counterparts, like the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Glow, the Hourglass one. This one is a little bit more like a chapstick and a little bit of a harder, like stiffer formula, kind of easier to work with and less shiny or kind of goopy. So I agree with this in the steals category. I also love the pigmentation on these. But again, I also think About Face has a really, really good one that's very comparable to like the Hourglass ones in terms of pigmentation and high shine. This one is also just very good. It's just very different than the other ones. Probably more like the Hourglass one than the Tarte, or even the About Face. The About Face is maybe even more like the Tarte in terms of how glossy and kind of thick a formula is. So I really enjoy this one. I don't disagree with this pick either. I'm really surprised to see it on there. You guys, that is it. That is everything. All the Allure 2023 beauty winners that I had. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments below. That is it for today's video. I hope to catch you all in the next video. Bye guys.